Yeah? Alright, let's hang on a second. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. It's really difficult. Let's try again. Okay, go. Let's make it a bit more sense. Okay, try again. Can we just get 1 point? Just one. Right, last chance, okay? Make it count. The entire PHP community is depending on you. Okay, here we go. Go! Well, if it's any consolation, the web design community didn't do much better. So. Alright, let's move on. Laser Clappy Birds. Right, there we are. Okay, what's next, I wonder? See, I'm going to not mirror it anymore. I'm going to... Lunar Trails. So Lunar Trails is a fun project, despite the fact that it doesn't have a laser. No, it's okay. It's still quite cool. Because it's based around this game from 1979 called Lunar Lander. Does anyone know this game? Yeah? It's hard, isn't it? It's a pretty hard game. I made a very accurate recreation of Lunar Lander. And you can actually, why don't you go and have a game now? It works on mobile. Go to moonlander.seb.ly. You can't actually see my entire screen. I don't know why. I've probably messed up the resolutions now. Let's maybe make it something a bit more sensible, like that. See if maybe you can see it. But yeah, it's moonlander.seb.ly. And you can go and have a game yourself. Obviously, the idea is to land your lunar module on the moon. It's a very hard game. But I love this game. I don't know why I love this game. I was too young, really, when it came out. I think I was 7. But I think it might have been because I was playing Thrust a lot. Do you remember Thrust? Which is a similar sort of game. So when I discovered Lunar Lander, I actually really loved it. The best part is it's quite slow, right? It's a really slow game until like you're about to land, at which point it's like, oh my god. It's like, because your thrusters are almost completely ineffectual to combat gravity. Oh, there you go. Oh, yes. Are you playing it as well? Are you guys playing it? I can tell if you're playing it because I made a viewer. I can watch people playing it, which is a bit creepy. So that's you guys, I suspect. But actually, I can even be so creepy as to figure out where you're from. Oh, look, there's someone from Atlanta playing it at the moment. If you open the JavaScript console, you get to be creepy, just like me. But this was all part of an effort to... pay attention. This was all part of an effort to make a multiplayer game. I wanted to see what the data would be like if I passed it down through a server, etc. And I wanted to know how to smooth that out in order to make a multiplayer game. But actually, who's that? It actually stops following you after a while because that's too far away. There you go. What was I even talking about? I've got no idea. Anyway, so once I made this, well, it's quite compelling, isn't it? I couldn't really stop looking at it, and especially because I made it leave a little trail as people flew around. And so I never ended up making a multiplayer game at all. I just ended up staring at this for about 2 weeks. But the cool thing about this is, apart from that it's awesome to watch, it also makes like quite cool pictures. So I left it running overnight the first time, and I was left with this. And it was like, oh my god, this was before I called myself an artist, right? And it's like, I accidentally did an art. It's really cool. So I've always thought, wouldn't that be cool to make like bigger into a proper art installation? So I made a clone, I made a recreation of the Lunar Lander game in an arcade cabinet, and I made this massive drawing machine, which was 3 meters wide, and used servo motors in each corner, and the pen holder hangs off these wires, and I adjust the motors to be able to make this pen holder move anywhere. And so that's the arcade cabinet. I bought it flat pack. It's like an IKEA for arcade cabinets. But it's actually just running a Chrome browser in there, just full screen, and the controls are communicating with it via an Arduino that's pretending to be a keyboard. The motor, the sort of drawing machine itself is run on an Arduino, and the data is going from the arcade cabinet into this processing application, and it's the processing application that's sending that data across a serial connection into the Arduino, and it draws the picture. And so, yeah, it just creates these artworks over time. And this was maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and this year we rebuilt it from scratch. Look at that. Let go of it, look what you're doing. So, yeah, it's quite scary because it could hurt someone, right? They're pretty powerful motors. Yeah, we've rebuilt this from scratch, and it's just come back from France for a few months. So I get to play with this project again because I haven't had much time with the plotter. I want to do other things with it. So yeah, this is Lunar Trails. Right, what's next, I wonder? Oh, Creative.js. So about 2 or 3 years ago, I started talking to JavaScript developers. I did a lot of JavaScript a long, long time ago. And I got back into it a few years ago because it was getting quite cool. The speed of JavaScript was very, very fast. You had HTML5 canvas, and it's just been getting better and better over the last few years. And I've been running these workshops where you can learn how to do this sort of creative visual programming in JavaScript. We use particle systems and games and physics and animation. So it's all the fun things, all the same sort of techniques that I use in all my other projects and platforms brought into JavaScript. And it's some really fun workshops. Maybe keep an eye out for one of those. I'm getting so busy with my own art projects, I hardly ever get to do these anymore. But it'll most likely be in Brighton, but I have done them in Amsterdam before. If you're interested, let me know, maybe I'll come back. Okay, live coding, right? I did live coding on Commodore 64. Let's bring it up to date. Let's do some JavaScript coding, yeah? Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Do you know how scary it is doing live coding? Yeah, these guys know. Right, obviously it is pretty scary, and I might mess it up, but thankfully there's a room full of programmers, and you know, you're my people, right? If I mess it up,